Hey guys, today I want to talk about the mess back in the US that is pushing many expats to leave the US. It's also happening in the UK, Australia, and many other places, and it's forcing a lot of Westerners out of their countries and forcing them, not I won't say forcing them, but it is kind of forcing them to leave because the people are getting sick of everything that's going on back home. We don't even really have to go into too much about it. Everybody knows about it. The issues that are going on back home and even in the world, I mean, it seems like we're heading towards World War III, let's face it. And it seems like we're going to World War III even in our own countries, unfortunately. And a lot of the expats that are coming over here that are landing, as soon as they get to the airport, they're almost relieved. I can see it in their demeanor, the way they talk. Man, I'm glad I'm over here and not back there anymore. And the ones that are back there are telling me, man, I can't wait to get over there. I'm so sick of all the stuff going on over here. You know, it's almost like a relief for them to be able to have some place to go where they can have some sort of peace. And granted, there's things here that are not that great either, okay? But for the most part, I feel my freedom here is greater than what I had back home. And some people might disagree with me on that, but I feel like my peace here, getting away from all the crap that's going on back in the US, both with politics and all the other stuff that's going on back there. Every time I mention it, it sets like about 4 or 5 people off or whatever. And I'm not going to get into that because I'm past that. I live here. This is my home. You know, we don't want to talk about that too much over here. We do on occasion talk about it when we're sitting there talking, but it's kind of like, it's a good conversation. It's kind of interesting, you know, for us to talk about it and vent off what we think about what's going on back home. And most of us pretty much agree that there's too much going on back home for us to contend with in our retirement years and to deal with all that crap going on there when we can come over here and have a nice life, have a nice family, live good, and just move on past that. And a lot of us have. I've seen one of the things that has troubled me the most about the expats that have come over here is a good chunk of them, okay, and I would say probably 50% or more, have lost their children. And I'm not talking to like an accident or disease or something like that. I'm saying they lost their children. They don't talk to them anymore because of what's going on back home. It's the cultural difference between us and our children is so different because a lot of us, the people that I'm seeing that have lost their children are children of the greatest generation. And we carry a little bit of that with us. We're the baby boomers and stuff. We carry a little bit of that greatest generation thing with us, I think. And some of us don't. Some baby boomers are different. There's this, you know, the hippie generation and stuff like that. But the baby boomer generation, I think as we grew up, we became a lot more like our parents. And a lot of the younger generation can't live with that or can't deal with it. They're so hateful, like on older people. They think that we're the problem. We're the ones that caused everything. But they don't look at all the good that we caused and all the good things we did. They just so focused on the bad things that have happened under our watch, okay? And I'm not saying any generation is any better than any other generation, but I do notice that the younger generation today is a disaster in the waiting. And to think that for some of the not expats, some of the people back home, their problem is that when they go into a nursing home, those same kids are going to be watching them in the nursing home. And I'd rather be over here than over there because you know what? I think a lot of those people, and I could see it when I was back there when my dad was in the Chelsea Soldiers Home, was that a lot of the people were from outside the country and they didn't care about Americans. And the other ones that worked there, some of them cared, but some of them didn't, you know. But the people, the generational changes that are going on, they just don't have that in them, that caring, loving attitude that the greatest generation has, and even the baby boomers to a certain extent. And you know, like I said, we have a mix of that in the baby boomer generation. Some are good, some are bad. And But the greatest generation, I remember them as being the most loving, kind people. They were cool, they were fascinating, they had so much history behind them, they did so much. They built the country to where it is today. Yet this generation doesn't give them any credit for that, for what happened during like World War II and the Industrial Revolution and all the things good that all these our former Americans and also in other countries, this is the same thing. You know, in the UK, the former citizens of that country built up to make it what it was. And, you know, that's the sad part. You know, I know that there's some good in this younger generation. And I've met a few of them. I see them. I mean, I see them in my foster daughter. And I see them in people that I worked with before. And I see the goodness in their hearts and stuff like that. But I see these other people, man, and it's like they're hell-bent on destruction. And I'm not sure what the end game is, because I don't see an end game with these people. And it scares me, you know. And I'm trying to stay off of, you know, politics and stuff like that, because I don't think this is really all politics. I think a lot of it's culturally. It's a cultural thing that's changing. I mean, it seems like from behind the scenes that there's people pushing for these agendas and stuff like that. And it's almost like their agendas to destroy what's good in the US, what's good in the UK, what's good in Australia, what's good in Europe or what have you. It's almost like there's a push for that. And even in the Philippines, I see it a little bit, believe it or not. I see a little bit of that push too. Only the Philippines has already kind of embraced some of that stuff, you know, and they embrace it in a different way. They kind of embrace it in a decent way where you don't have to talk about it. It doesn't become a political issue. It's just like, okay, we'll accept it. Okay, good. It's out there. Okay, you know, it's passive. In the U.S., it's a war. You know, between, you know, that's the difference between the Philippines and the U.S. In the U.S., everything's a war, a battle. It's almost like we draw lines, whereas in the Philippines, they don't draw those lines. You know, like we don't want to battle. We just want to live and let live. And that's the huge difference between here and back in the US or the UK or Australia. You know, like, I don't even want to get into what issues I'm talking about here, because they're so divisive. If I mention them, the people out here will blow up, or you might get kicked off here or whatever. And that's not what I'm trying to do. You know, I'm just talking and saying that, you know, the world needs to move on and become a much better place than what it is. And by me moving here to the Philippines and to Asia, because there's other Asian countries just as good as the Philippines, I've gotten this freedom, this intense freedom that has given me something that I've never had in my life. It's like a feeling when I was younger and I got out of the military and I had that intense feeling of freedom. And then when I started working, I felt like that was taken away from me. I felt like I didn't have that anymore. It just kind of lost it, except when you were on vacation. And then when you went back to work, it was like, oh man, I got to do like, you know, 8 more months of this before I get my next vacation or whatever. And that's kind of a horrible feeling that we have to live like that. It was one of the reasons why I retired at 55. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to throw my thoughts out, and you guys are welcome to throw your thoughts out too. But it's just the way I feel about things, and I just want to give you my 2 cents worth today. And we got a couple of other videos coming up soon that would be kind of interesting too. And I got somebody that's asking me all the time, hey Steve, are you going to do any walking around videos anymore? Yes, I am. Okay, I am going to do some walking around videos. I just need some time out to get some stuff done, and then I'm going to go walking around this week probably. If I can catch a good day in the morning, I'll walk around town and I'll do some more filming, because people are asking me to do some more films around town. And I'll do some of the same places so you can see how much change is going on in Tracy Martirez, which is kind of cool. But I'll also show you some new places too. But anyway, guys, God bless. Take care.